I want to welcome everyone. I'm Jeannie Ralston, and I'm the founder of Next Tribe. And I'm so excited about the Santa Fe trip because it's one of our earliest trips. We started very soon after we became more of a travel company. And I've had such great experiences there. And now we have Marcy Mitchell, who leads the trip. And I'm going to turn it over to her so she can take you through the itinerary and the overview. But Marcy is she's our travel manager. She helps people all the time, with all of our travelers with their trips and their questions. And she knows her sister lived in Santa Fe for quite a while, so she knows Santa Fe well. And she was last year's leader, and everybody loved it so much. They, hi, all the people from last year want to travel together they've made such a good community. So we're really excited and hope that we'll have another community like that for this year. So Marcy, it's great to have you here, and let us know what you're.
All right. So I'm Marcy Mitchell. A lot of you might know me as the travel manager for Next Tribe. Lots of emails going around. So I led this Santa Fe trip last year. I spent 2 years living in Taos, New Mexico, which is about 45 miles north of Santa Fe. And my sister lived in Santa Fe for a few years. And so I spent a lot of time there with her as well. So we have a lot of kind of local experts also joining us on the trip. A few of them, I wouldn't say a lot, but a few. So I will share my screen and we'll just walk through the itinerary day by day. Jeannie might chime in because she's done the trip before also. And then after the presentation, there's time for questions and we'll go from there. So I'm going to share my screen. And that's not the screen we want. How about that one? Okay. Jeannie, can you see?
We can see it if you just do it to the full screen down there
Okay.
in the corner.
Yeah, I thought I had that all figured out, and now I
I
don't see
know
that.
it's right.
Oh, there
Yeah,
it is.
there it
Okay.
is.
Okay. So the dates of this trip are October 1st through 4th, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, and leaving on Saturday. We chose to do it a week later this year because I really was hoping to get a little more of that crisp New Mexico autumn feeling. We were there the week before last year and it was still pretty warm, and we saw a few little glimmers of the aspens turning, but not much. So I'm really hoping that we have some autumn leaves. And the weather should be perfect. Days in Santa Fe at this time of year are probably going to be in the 70s and nights probably 40s and 50s. Lots of sun. So even though it's maybe a little chilly, the sun really warms things up, and the sun is very intense there all the time. So you can see here, obviously a beautiful sunny day. This is just a little bit more about me. I love being in the mountains. I love hiking. I love being outside. I currently live in Wyoming. And I also lead our Colorado Mountain Adventure trip. So I just love all things about the Rocky Mountain and high desert West. So Santa Fe obviously is such a beautiful, beautiful place. The architecture there is just so unique, and it's exactly kind of what you picture when you think of New Mexico. The adobes, a lot of really old adobe buildings. As we're driving to our activities, you'll see like beautiful old adobes crumbling down off in the field, and just it's a lovely place. The colors, the smells are so nice. The light is beautiful, which is what inspired many artists who have lived there. So when we arrive, we are staying at the Inn on the Alameda, which is a beautiful little small hotel. It's right in downtown Santa Fe, if you could call it downtown, right near the plaza, the historic plaza. So we can walk everywhere. We can walk to the plaza. We can walk to dinner. We will have a van that will I'll be driving the van, which will take us to all of our activities. So you will never have to drive when you're there. So the Inn on the Alameda is just a lovely, there's just like shady trees and little nooks and courtyards, and they've got a great little bar there and also a delicious breakfast buffet that's included every day. So our first activity will be a historic walking tour. We'll start that around, I think we have it scheduled to start around 3 or 4. So you'll want to be able to arrive at the hotel by that time. You can fly into either Santa Fe or Albuquerque. Albuquerque is about an hour and a half by car or shuttle. Santa Fe is obviously more convenient, but sometimes a little trickier to get flights in there. So Mika, this is Mika right here standing in the front of this line. Mika Chavez is our tour guide. She's a good friend of my sister Molly and of our family. She has lived in New Mexico forever, and she used to teach New Mexico history to middle school students in the Santa Fe public schools. And she also is a very well-known chef in Santa Fe. She works at the Santa Fe School of Cooking, and she is great. She's got a great personality, super fun, and very knowledgeable. So she's going to lead us on our tour around the plaza and talk to us about the history of Santa Fe and the plaza specifically and different buildings. And so that will be our first activity. And then that walking tour takes us up there's one pretty steep part, some stairs that go up which we can work out in the van if people need to. But we end up at this beautiful location called the Cross of the Martyrs, which is a really high point in the city and a gorgeous view of the city below. And we'll end up there around 5 or so. Well, I'm not sure, but in time for sunset. And we will have a plein air painting demonstration by a woman named Lisa Flynn. And she did it different both years. This year, you can see in one of the pictures, she was doing the watercolor, and in the other picture, she had, it looks like more acrylic or something happening. But she's great, and it's really cool to watch her paint the beautiful scenery. In this one picture on the right here, you can see that beautiful golden Santa Fe sunset light on everybody. So after or maybe before, so simultaneously with the painting demo, we will have a delicious gourmet picnic, also prepared by Mika, who works at the cooking school and is a professional chef and caterer. And she'll make us a lovely spread and have it all set up for us up there. And we'll have a picnic dinner and a champagne toast. And then we can drive back to our hotel after that. And last year we hung out in the hotel bar restaurant, got to know each other a little bit, some of us after this, and some of us decided to rest after a long day of traveling, but that'll be our final activity for the first day. And the next day is all about Georgia O'Keeffe. I went on this tour for the first time last year, and it knocked my socks off. I don't know if I just had low expectations or I didn't have any expectations, but it blew my mind. So what we're going to do is we drive to Abiquiu, which is where she lived and worked. It's about an hour by car, maybe a little bit less. A beautiful drive from Santa Fe out into the desert. And we will take a tour of Georgia O'Keeffe's home and studio. And one of the cool things that I learned on this tour is that she left her home one day. She was in her 90s and was not feeling well or something. I'm not exactly sure, but assuming she was going to come back. And sadly never came back. She passed away, but everything in her home was left exactly as she had left it. And it's just so amazing to see her clothes hanging in the closet, her paintbrushes all spread out in her studio, beautiful things that inspired her, like these stones and those horns. And it's such a beautiful place, and the tour guides are so good. They're just so engaging and knowledgeable, and um, it was just, we were all just blown away by that tour.
And I have to say that one of the things is, but like you said, Marcy, the things were just left. Like she had her notes of like certain phone numbers of people that she
Mhm.
called regularly, and I can't remember. There was one name that I recognized.
I know. Should we give it away, or should we
Oh
let
yeah,
people
no,
be
maybe not.
surprised?
Be a surprise. That's a good.
A famous photographer.
Yes, yes. So it was kind of like it
Yeah.
was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
So
in
it's
her handwriting, right by her old black phone.
I know it was
So,
something to see. Yeah,
yeah,
everybody loved that.
really, really cool. So we'll do the home and studio tour in Abiquiu. And then we have lunch at the beautiful Abiquiu Inn, a lovely shady old patio surrounded by aspen trees and flowers. And it's a really very good place to have lunch. And we'll enjoy that. And then from there, we drive to Ghost Ranch, which is about 30 minutes, I think, from Abiquiu. And we do a landscape tour. And so, also led by these guides, these, I don't know what you call them, docents, these people who are just passionate about Georgia O'Keeffe and know everything about her and her life there at Ghost Ranch. And um, we go out in a little van. They drive us out, and we make stops along the way, and we see these spots where you see the painting, like you know exactly what painting that is, and the guide will tell us about the painting and the story behind it, and it's awesome.
Oh, I love that too. I love that
Yeah.
you could actually you see where she would have set up her easel and you
Mhm.
see the actual thing and then her interpretation of it. It's that's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
And you feel like you're getting such a just a very rare insider view into her world with
Yep.
some really good juicy details too.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so after that, this is a big busy day. After we do the landscape tour, we jump in the van and we drive about a half an hour or so to this beautiful woman, Norma. She lives on the okay, I'm probably going to say it wrong, the Okay Owinge Pueblo. Um, and she and her family invite people in, and they're the most lovely, beautiful family. She's got all her, husband, kids, in-laws. They're helping, and you get to learn the art of traditional Orno cooking. So an Orno is that clay oven that's built outdoors that they've used for centuries to bake and cook in. So she'll walk us through recipes, and we all have hands-on time. It helping out, making stuff, and all the ingredients come from her property there. You can see it's a beautiful, it's gorgeous. And oh, last year I remember they had this iced tea. Did they have that when you were there, Jeannie? I don't
Yeah.
even like iced tea, and it was so good. And they had made it from some kind of herb on her property, and so
I just love that. I found that we have been going to her for since the very first trip, and we did there, and I just loved being able to meet her and actually experience something just so far from
mhm,
the slick Santa Fe. It's not slick or anything, but it's so
mhm,
authentic and it represents the Native Americans, which is so important that
mhm.
we understand their culture in
Yeah.
way. So and the food is great and just
Mhm.
that Orno, I was like, oh my God, it's just,
Yeah.
we learn so much about the traditions. I love that.
So beautiful. And like you said, so authentic. And I walked away feeling just like you could really just feel the deep roots of their community and their traditions and how proud they are of that and how much they want to share it. And a couple women on our trip even said, like, oh, this was the one thing on the itinerary that I didn't even think sounded very fun. And it turned out to be their favorite thing. So,
Yeah, a lot of people consider it, a lot of people love the Georgia O'Keeffe, of course, but this is
mhm,
for many people a highlight because you get to know her and her family, like you said.
mhm. And just so warm and welcoming, genuinely warm and welcoming. Yeah. So after that, we'll head back to our hotel and chill out and wander around town, whatever. A lot of people are tired though. So, but the next morning, so this is a new addition this year. I decided, and Jeannie agreed that it was worth the drive to get to this place. So we'll be driving back to Abiquiu in the morning. And this is Ojo Caliente Natural Mineral Hot Springs. And it is the most, Jeannie, have you been here?
Yes, twice.
Yeah. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. Again, just the beautiful aspen trees and flowers, and hopefully we'll have a little autumn foliage and that crisp fall air. So I wanted to go here in the morning. We're going to get there right when they open at 10 a.m. I wanted to get there in the morning so we still had a little crisp, cool air so we could really enjoy the warm waters. It's more enjoyable than if the sun's beating down on you and it's hot. So we'll enjoy the springs. They have a variety of pools, different temperatures, different sizes, and different minerals. So one of the pools has iron, one of them has lithium, and it's so wonderful. And if you can see in that top left picture, there's some hammocks there. That's one of my favorite places to hang out, pun intended. That pool is warm but not hot, and you can just hang in those hammocks and go in the lounge chairs, read. They do have a spa there, so we might be able to, a few of you might be able to get some massages if we book far enough in advance. And we'll have lunch there. They have a lovely little restaurant, and so we'll enjoy that for a few hours, probably 2 or 3 hours. And then we will head back to town and have a couple hours to rest, change clothes, take a nap, wander around. And then we go to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, which again, it's one of my favorite museums, but having just been at the landscape tour the day before, and then seeing the paintings of what you just saw with your own eyes the day before, like this one down here in the right-hand bottom corner, you saw that in real life. And then you stood there where she stood, and then you see that painting, and it's really cool experience. They have an awesome gift shop too. And I think you'll probably just fall in love with Georgia O'Keeffe. She was just such a badass and so far ahead of her time.
I
And
say she's the original age boldly icon. We love aging boldly. She certainly did. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, she made her own choices, and she lived her own life, and it's awesome to see all her stuff so up close. So after the museum, we will have a couple hours, and we will have a happy hour at a local woman's home where we'll just have some drinks and little few snacks and get to enjoy a local's perspective on living in Santa Fe.
And architecture. We always like to see what does inside the homes. That's one of the things we love to do on Next Tribe trips, is see inside people's homes.
Yeah, exactly. Last year we did it at my sister Molly's house, and her house is like, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Beautiful.
So this year I'm sure we'll find an equally wonderful place to hang out. And after that, we'll have dinner at this great restaurant called Orno, which is named after the stove, the oven, the outdoor oven that we saw in the other slides. It is so good, and it's really just that New Mexican cuisine that just so good. It's delicious, and great service. We have our own big table there. It's awesome, and that's right on the plaza as well. So that'll be our final dinner together. The next morning, I can take some people for a hike. If anybody wants to hike, it would be an early hike, somewhere just in the foothills right around town. And then we'll have brunch at Bishop's Lodge, which is a beautiful, beautiful property up in the mountains, foothills. It's just gorgeous, and the grounds are so pretty, and the food is delicious. And we'll have our final brunch there. Those aspen trees, that's the road up to the lodge. So we'll enjoy brunch there and say our farewells. If you are booking a ticket, you'll want to get it later in the day, 5 p.m. at the earliest if you're flying out of Albuquerque, or about 3:30 if you're flying out of Santa Fe. And then one more thing to consider. Well, just Jeannie, you want to talk about this? Just fun and friendship
Oh,
galore
yeah.
all the time.
Yes, I have to say that one thing that we see on all of our trips is how quickly these groups come together and bond. And I think it's because we're all at a certain point in our lives and we've been through some stuff. We can relate to what other women are going through. We have great compassion for what everyone's going through. But the fact that we're on this trip means that we're still searching for great experiences and wanting to reach out and expand our tribe, expand our horizons. So a lot of like-minded women come together on these trips. And as I said before, a lot of times people become such good friends, they want to travel again together. And what I said about last year's group, they had such a great time that quite a few, I don't know how many, but like
I think
two-thirds, five out of
Yeah.
the group travel. They're like, we've got to do more trips together. So they went to Charleston on our Charleston trip together. But that's the kind of thing that happens here is that you meet these women and you realize you have a lot in common and you want to keep that relationship going. So we love that. That's part of what we do is create community and if in different ways. But the other thing is I always want trips to feel like you're traveling with your good girlfriends. So we don't do this thing where you have to walk, follow Marcy everywhere in lockstep and in every way, in every point. We try to build in some flexibility. And I think you heard Marcy say, if you want to do a hike in the morning or we just want you to feel like you have some room to do the thing that you really want, or if you're not into something we're doing, you can peace out and meet up later. I mean, we just obviously there's a lot of communication involved with that, but we just want there to be a certain level of flexibility for everybody.
Yeah, and there's still, I mean, we're packing it in and there's still so much more to do there. So
Yes.
if you do want to extend your trip a couple days, that's a great idea. You could definitely stay busy in Santa Fe. You could go up to Taos. If anybody wanted to go up to Taos and explore, I could give you a little itinerary for that for a couple days. Also, amazing art up there, art museums, restaurants that are just yum, more hiking, just everything. It's awesome. Taos Pueblo, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So yeah, you can extend and do your own thing. And then one more thing, if you are considering coming and you think, wow, that's kind of far to go for 3 days, this world famous Albuquerque Hot Air Balloon Festival is happening the day our trip ends. It begins in Albuquerque. So you could extend your trip down there a few days and experience that. So
And have you been to that, Marcy?
I have not.
I have on one trip to Santa Fe. I had back years ago. It happened that the trip ended just as you said the day this started. So I was able to get up really early in the morning and see some of the balloons, which is
Oh, cool.
fascinating.
Yeah. And that is it. So I really hope that you will be joining us because it's a fantastic place to visit.
And I also want to say is that we do because these domestic trips are usually 3 nights, 4 days. We do pack a lot in because we want you to feel like you've really gotten the best look at that town, in those 3 days. So we do pack things in and on purpose. So, but trying to build uh, like we said, some break time for you. So there is a little bit of downtime, but just come and you be ready to roll and have a great time.
Yep.
So thanks
And
everyone for coming. And if you
yep. And if you have any questions, you can contact me and Marcy, travel@nexttribe.com, and I can answer them for you.
very good.
All right.
Thanks. Hold on.
Bye-bye.
Bye.